In this video, we'll start to explore another part of the chart. So you've seen in the documentation, you see a lot about all these topics here. We're going through the charts, and you can see all these lines, bar, all these type of charts here. This is really phenomenal. Chart.JS 2 have 8 charts in total compared to the Chart.JS number 1. So Chart.JS 1 was very restricted, and eventually they rebuilt the Chart.JS 2 version. So that's why it's not backward compatible. Of course, that is maybe a bit sad, and maybe you're frustrated if you have used Chart.JS 1. However, Chart.JS 2 is really phenomenal because now you have in total of 8 different charts. So you have the line, bar, radar, polar area, donut, and pie. These are considered as 2 separate ones. Bubble, yes, and then there's one here not being shown, which is what we call the scatter chart. So you can see here there's a scatter chart, and apparently you can even consider an area chart, which is slightly different as well. So all of this is possible, and it's really interesting. Just to create a chart is also very straightforward. How to do that, depending on, of course, the type of chart, you have the different data set structure. That's very important to remember. However, we have here the line. So let's look at our own file. So we have here this file here, and now we have this pinkish line. So let's adjust that. I prefer this color, and I have a lot of Udemy videos. You will see that when I have these videos, you will understand why I'm using these colors, because these colors are color coding, meaning if it gets green, it's easy, yellow is slightly more advanced, and red is professional level. All right, so we have this here now, and we just changed the color here at the background to make it a bit more appealing. But let's change this now from the type, because this is really where we have to focus on. How can we change the type? Well, we can say the type, instead of line, let's make this bar. Let's save that. There you are. Now instantly it changes to bar. And then even this is very nice, because this was not available horizontal bar. This was not available in the Chart.JS 1, because with Chart.JS 1 you had to have the separate plugin. So let's save this now, refresh. Oh, you can see something went wrong. Bar horizontal, and the reason why is simple. We have to put in horizontal bar. Let's save that. No, let's refresh, and there you are. So now you can see horizontal bar. You can find everything in here as well. So let me show you here what I'm talking about. Border skip config, and then let's see here, stack bar, yes, to stack it, and horizontal bar, this is the horizontal bar, just change it to horizontal bar for the type, yes. So I'll show you as well how do you do a stack bar. So maybe you say, well, okay, how do we do a stack bar? Well, if you look here, stack bar is focused on options itself. In the options you have the scales, and then in the scales you pinpoint on the x-axis, indicating it is stacked, and on the y-axis and indicate there it is a stacked type. So you can basically just copy all of this, yes, and we just put it in here, and then we have a combined version of what we call a horizontal stacked bar. So in here the options, there you are. Of course we have to put in some commas here, just making it here, just to ensure that we have all of these. So if we save this, we need to have another data, because you will see now nothing happens. It is a stacked version already, but nothing happens. Reason why? We don't have another data set, because you can only stack something if you have something on top of it. So let's put it in here. So I'm adding up a new value, and I say this is my second data set, and this will be a new nice fancy color. Let's make it a pure green one. It's 150 here, 150 there. Save this all together, now refresh, and there you are. We have this nice green. It's almost matching to what's our background. Beautiful. So that's this. And of course, what can you do more? Well, let's look at more. So we have the horizontal bar, we have the stack bar. Well, let's remove this. Let's make this again a normal bar. What happened then? There you are. We have a stacked bar that is just normal. We have a line. Well, let's do something else more. Can we do a pie? Yes. Refresh, there you have a pie, and this is even a multi-level pie, because we have multiple levels here. Let's make it a donut. Let's save this as well. There you are. Now we have a donut, and this is a multi-level donut. If you don't want a multi-level donut, and you can see here this we should remove as well. This is forbidden because this is not related with each other, so we have to remove that. And of course, let's delete all of this here, save this, refresh here. Now you have a normal pie or a single donut. And if you wonder what is the difference between a pie and donut in Chart.JS, well, let's look at our documentation. Pie, donut. The difference between pie and donut, here it is. Yes, it's the inner cutout percentage. Yes, so the cutout percentage on pie by default is 0, and the cutout percentage on donut is by default 50. So you can basically change this anytime you want. Alright, so we have this. Can we do a polar area? I'm not sure because our setup is probably not suitable. So let's try polar. I hardly use polar as well, but let's look at the type. Is it polar area? Alright, so we need to use this. This chart I don't use much because I don't know exactly what the practical level is, but it works fine here. And if you say, well, we need some colors here, of course, we can do here in the background color. We make an array of colors, yes? So that's an array of colors, and then we can add up any kind of value here. So let's give it a few values. All right, and then we say here 0, and we'll make this 99. We'll make this 0. We'll make this 200. We'll make this 0. We'll make this 250. And this one's 50, and here finally 255. Let's save this, refresh, and now we get all kind of colors. It looks horrible. However, you understand the mechanics behind it, and that is more important than a fancy design for now. Alright, so we've got this. Finally, the last part what we have to focus on. Let's see what's our other nice chart. Bubble chart, scatter chart have a different setup. Because let's look at this here. You can see here while we have the data, but the data points are in this structure. So probably making a new video related to this is more suitable. But that's basically it. Next video I'll show you about how you can do this scatter and what do you call this? The scatter and bubble chart to make something fancy.